What made your parents cry over a ridiculous rule that they created? My dad absolutely refused to let us have pets. No dogs, no cats, no cute little hamster, not even a goldfish. I'm allergic, he'd say. But to what? To fur, hair, shells, and scales? Okay, I knew it was a white lie and he just hated the mess that came with owning a pet, but I really thought he'd say yes to at least one kind of animal. See, my 4-year-old autistic sister Rosie loved animals, so much so that every time we passed a dog on the street, she'd light up and reach for it. But at home, she'd just sit silently. It was heartbreaking to see. So when my friend and I stumbled on a tiny puppy, abandoned in a box on the way from school, I took him. I knew Dad would probably ground me for life, but I couldn't leave the poor puppy there all alone in the rain. I snuck him into our shed. When I came back out with blankets, my neighbor smiled and winked through the window, making a lip-sealed gesture on her face. I smiled back and continued setting up a small space for the puppy. My neighbor helped me hide the puppy a few times when Dad needed to use the shed, but at night, I kept the puppy in my closet, adding in a false bottom on my treasure chest. I trained him with hand signals to stay quiet, and Dad was around and coordinated his bathroom breaks with Dad's shower schedule. And when I needed to buy dog food, I just told Mom it was for a science project. I want to know if plants can eat dog food too. She gave me a weird look before shrugging and buying me enough bags to last a month. Once the puppy was clean and healthy enough, I snuck him over to Rosie's room, and to my surprise, she actually spoke. Pup, she said, petting him over and over. I smiled watching them play, thinking that everything would work just fine. But then, bad luck struck, and the day that Dad found out finally arrived. 3 months in, Dad threw a big company barbecue in our backyard, so I hid with the puppy in my room. It was honestly great until I glanced down into our yard. My eyes widened. I quickly opened up the window and yelled, "Mom, where's Rosie?" Mom gasped, calling out for my sister's name. Dad sprinted into the house looking through every room for her, but no matter how desperately they searched, she was gone, most likely slipped away from all the noise and strangers. Dad called 911 while the rest of the party checked around the perimeter, visiting all the nearby neighbors. I glanced down at my puppy and picked him up, taking him into her room. "Okay, Pup, take a big whiff and help us out, all right?" When he seemed ready, I carried the puppy out into our backyard. Mom and Dad gasped, too shocked to even speak. I let the puppy go and screamed at all the adults, "He knows where she's at!" It was a gamble, but something in my gut just knew he could do it. The puppy sprinted out, leading us 3 blocks down the street to a drainage tunnel. As we got close, would hear Rosie humming from inside, curled up inside about 10 feet in. Dad tried calling for her, but his voice made her crawl deeper in the drainage. That's when the puppy barked, crawling right in to grab her. Pup, she giggled and followed him out. Mom quickly pulled her from the entrance of the drainage, sobbing hard as she hugged her. Dad smiled at the puppy and picked it up, petting his head gently. "Good boy, very good boy," he said, fighting back tears. Back home, Rosie wouldn't let go of the puppy. Not only that, she managed to talk more and more because of him. Good doggy. Love Pup. Dad, of course, got angry that I kept the puppy a secret, but he also apologized. "It was my fault for being selfish about it. You've hidden the little guy from me for 3 months. I think you're more than capable of raising a pet." After that, Pup was included in everything. Christmas, birthdays, family vacations, and years later when he got old and had to be put down, Dad cried the hardest. I still miss our Pup.